not watching everything, it means nothing.
The large print giveth, and the small print taketh away.
You, sir, are a geek.
You guys are talking about Maven from Tough Enough, right? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Royal Ramble. I'm in studio. I'm John Covey Cole. Got Brian Resner on the Skype. Derek Jones was supposed to be joining us, but I don't know where he's at. Oh, I almost forgot. John Covey Cole, your Royal Ramble champion. How you doing, Brian?
Good. Nice to see you, champ. Nice to see you.
It's good to be here, man. It's good to be here. Next week, we are going to be having the Ramble in the Bank competition, hence the briefcase here. The winner will get to face me at a later date for this championship. So I'm anxious to find out who it's going to be. I know we've already had a couple people send some, hey, Derek Jones, welcome to the party, man. Where you been?
I've run into a little bit of trouble along my ways there, John. Kind of stuck in no man's land out here. Had some car troubles.
Yeah.
Kind of conveniently.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get that sometimes.
You know.
As I was saying,
convenient car troubles? I've never had those.
Well, I don't think anybody's ever had convenient car troubles, to be honest with you, but it's just convenient that today's the day of the Ramble. Building up to the Ramble in the Bank. Only a handful of people actually knew where I was going. I come outside, tires are cut. 2 of my tires.
I was wondering how come you wasn't in studio today. That's why, huh?
So it's fairly convenient. Yeah. Sorry to miss out on the fun in there, John. I don't know if it was. I guess it could have just been coincidental, but
your tires were cut.
Yeah.
What kind of neighborhood you living in, Jones?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not home. Had I been home, it would have been different. But like I said, travel for work a little bit. Tried to get home. Here I sit.
Well, next week we are having the Ramble on the Bank, just like you alluded to, and I did there before you come with us. Next week you guys are going to be going after that to face me. I know you're going to be in that competition to claim what you say is rightfully yours, the Royal Ramble Championship.
Rightfully mine, yes. And I'll be there next week no matter what. I will walk. If
Come hell or high water.
That's right. I will be there no matter what. Nothing will stop me from being in studio next week to win that.
Bring it on is all I can say, brother. I ain't worried about you. You know what I mean? Champ ain't scared. Hey, Brian, can I enter the Ramble on the Bank competition too and win the briefcase as well?
No, the judges say that's against the rules.
Crap. Hey, can't win them all, right? Well, heck, I wasn't even in the last competition, but yet here I am, the champion. That's how we do. It's
like Hogan at WrestleMania 9. How'd you come out with the belt?
This happens sometimes.
Hello, Rich Quick here. Did you miss me? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I know you did. Well, I just need a very quick word about May 22nd, the Ramble in the Bank. Yes, well, now, unfortunately, I will not be able to be in attendance. I know. I have better things to do. And what's that thing called? A life. Yeah. So I won't be there. But I figured the very least I could do would be to give my critiques, my advice, my predictions on the promos that the contestants have sent in thus far. So let's get to it. All right. Now, first, Robert and Hojo. Well, gentlemen, may I be the first to welcome you to the Royal Ramble. Now, unfortunately, I will not be talking about your promos because, honestly, they came off a little lackluster. I didn't believe you, and I don't think you're really going to win. So, but, what they say, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, so best of luck to you. All right, moving on. Mike Loving. Mike Loving. All right, now where do I begin? First off, it's called Ramble in the Bank, not money in the bank, Mike. Okay. And secondly, and this is very important. Come here, Mike. Now this is just between me and you. Okay. I don't want to embarrass you in front of everyone else. Okay. But you kept talking about climbing a ladder and taking. Hey, you know that there are no ladders involved here, right? Like, do you know that? Please tell me you know that, because I don't think that you know that, okay? Now, mainly because we certainly do not want you climbing a ladder, all right? With your luck, you'd probably fall off, break your neck, and sue John Covey Cole, and we don't want that. Fortunately, though, one of the nation's best attorneys is present in Stephen P. New. Unfortunately for you, unless that fall gives you mesothelioma, I don't think he'll take your case, all right? So, moving on. This next contestant I was shocked. I was gobsmacked even. Joseph Nelson. Now, I will never critique Joseph Nelson's promos. He's one of the best in the business. That's a fact. That's a promise. Look it up. All right? Now, Joseph Nelson and I go way back like car seats, baby. We're old friends back to the NWA National Championship days. Remember that, Joey? Yeah, I mean, you didn't win, but you were there. All right. Perfect. You did a perfect promo as usual. Now, you are my favorite to win this thing, and I'm not just saying that. Now, as a friend, I do have to tell you that John Covey Cole's place is not wheelchair accessible, so you might want to plan ahead for that, all right? So, that being said, my pick for the winner of the Ramble in the Bank he is by no means the dark horse in this competition, but he is definitely the dark child. Hi. All right, that's it from me. I'll see you next time, maybe, if I'm bored. But as always, ramble on.
Really, Rich Quick's just gonna show up like that. I've been wondering where the hell he's at for months, and then he's just gonna pop up like that. It's good to see him, but I don't like that he's hacking the show again. It kind of makes me a little nervous.
Man, I'm really worried about Mike. I hope he doesn't get mesothelioma.
yeah, that was.
But at least if he does, he will have a lawyer.
He will definitely have a lawyer. Rich Quick making an appearance. I didn't see that coming, but that's always nice to see.
It's a little disturbing, a Rich Quick appearance like that, and not just because he comes out of nowhere, but he had nothing good to say about me.
Derek, are you in an air traffic control area? I hear planes.
Did you hear that too? I thought I was going crazy.
That was a plane.
I'm pretty sure it's like a semi driving by. I'm off the interstate. I told you I was trying to come home, and.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were in an aircraft carrier. I wasn't sure.
No,
You never know about you.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Guys, let's talk a little wrestling. Would you like to? Sure, let's do it. Let's talk a little pros and cons. A lot going on in the wrestling world this week. And I was actually, for those of you guys that watched last week, I was true to my word. I did not watch a minute of WWE TV this week. Surprisingly.
None.
Zero. Zilch. Now, I've heard about this Bray Wyatt promo, which we could talk more after we get through our pros and cons there, because I don't want to spoil somebody's thing. But I'm going to, since I'm the champion usually comes out second, but I'm going to come out first tonight. I'm going to start with the cons this week. And one of you guys' cons may be the same as mine. But the con for me this week was RWA, Jacob Bryan versus Brad Anderson. And I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's been all over the internet. You guys may not feel the way that I feel, but as a former professional wrestler being in that locker room, I've been around people that's had heat with each other. And that being said, having heat with somebody and giving somebody a receipt, giving them a potato, if you will, that's one thing. But the way this Anderson guy went in there and just totally attempted to hurt this kid, it's not okay in my book. And there should be no place in that for wrestling. What really bothers me more than anything is that's Gene Anderson's son. that's what really upset me. I don't like to give away the business, so to speak, to the people that aren't smartened up to what's going on. But you can't do that. I mean, that's ridiculous. If you guys feel differently, please speak up. But that just really upset me.
I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily feel differently, but I would say that was definitely a pro for Jacob.
Absolutely, he's booked all over the place.
Oh my! The book Jacob tweet or the hashtag has gone crazy. I've already seen Real Shoot say they're bringing him in.
July 4th, he's coming to Real Shoot. Yeah, I've seen that.
ASW's bringing him in, and I mean, this is your opportunity, man, to really get some bookings. So I hope you're coming with the best you've got, because this is really. You got DDT'd into your future, man.
Here's your chance, kid,
Yeah, here's your shot. Now, I would like to hear Brad explain this.
This is all I've got from it. I'm sure you guys have heard maybe a little more, maybe what I've heard. I heard there was a show last month that Jacob Bryan broke Brad Anderson's son's wrist. That's all I know.
See, now I heard it was a rib.
Oh, a rib. Okay, maybe it was a rib. Maybe I just read it wrong or heard it wrong.
I heard he got not a rib as in a joke, but he got a cracked rib. But I also heard that the kid was like 13 or 14 years old.
Ooh.
And
was he training or
he wasn't even supposed to be in the ring. I mean, you're not supposed to be in a match at that age. I mean, I know that they did it back in the day, but not now. Like they lied about the kid's age, and the kid actually went into the match with Jacob Bryan. Jacob Bryan didn't know that the kid was that old, but you're talking about a 13 or 14-year-old getting a rib cracked in a place where they don't even belong. That's your fault for letting your kid go in the ring at that age. And I guess that when you're Brad Anderson and you're coming from Gene Anderson, I guess it's just a part of the deal. Like, hey, we're going to throw this 14-year-old in the ring. But when you do something like that, you ask for something like what happened, and you can't get mad and try to DDT somebody through the floor.
Like I said, cashing a receipt, that's one thing. I'm going to go ahead and smarten some people up right here. I had a match here recently that I had some former beef with a guy, and I told myself whenever I got into the ring with him, I was going to have a little fun and stretch him out a little bit, but I didn't. You know why? Because of the professionalism of the business. You got to take number one rule in wrestling is you got to take care of the guy you're working with.
I don't hear anybody talking about the promoter. And
I heard White Mike. I don't know if you follow White Mike on Facebook there, the Gym Nasty Boys, but I was listening to him, and he was actually at that show, and he said that before it even happened, the promoter looked at him and said, "Oh, there's about to be a shoot," and then of course he recanted and said that he didn't know it was going to be to that extent, but he knew something was about to go down.
Well, yeah, from what I heard, that's where I got my information about the promoter, and also the fans that were recording the video that everybody's seen. They knew what was going to happen. You could tell by the way they were talking.
Oh yeah,
that was the reason why they were recording that match. It damn sure wasn't because of the skill set of the two guys in the ring.
I don't know. I heard Brad Anderson got a mean DDT. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I definitely seen that he did. I don't understand how that many people knew and the promoter didn't. I had someone ask me, what would you have done if this would have happened in SCW? And my response to that was that it wouldn't have happened in SCW. That I would not have let that happen. If I've got two guys that got heat, why would I put them in the ring against each other knowing that they're about to shoot on each other? If I knew that was going down, there's no way I would have let it go down. And obviously the promoter knew it was going down. If the fans, the people who are not supposed to know what's going on backstage at all,
and they know what's up, yeah,
they knew. So, I mean, everybody should have known. I mean, there are wrestlers back there that probably knew that have some responsibility. Everybody, I mean, if the kid would have gotten really hurt, like to a major extent, then everybody involved there would have blood on their hands. And that's crazy. But you know what? Another pro that came out of your con. Did you see where Austin Aries actually is paying attention to this?
No, I did not.
Austin Aries spoke on this match. It got his attention. He, I mean, so he may have gotten DDT'd into the floor, but at least Austin Aries paid attention to your match.
It got him over, didn't it? Derek, are you familiar with what we're talking about, and what's your take on it, if you are?
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you guys, and that's if nobody else was going to talk about it, I was going to as a con. And the situation is you're a pro wrestler, or, a sports entertainer, or whatever you want to call yourself. You've been in the business for a little while. You're going to put your kid in a situation like that where he's going to get hurt, knowing he's as young as he is. It's your own damn fault. Somebody should have beat your ass for it, for putting your kid in the situation that you did, because you're the dad. You're in the business. You should have known better. Plain and simple.
Well, it's like Brian said, man, the old days, it was typical.
Right.
I think Rey Mysterio said he started wrestling at like 13.
13 years old.
Rowdy Piper, too, 14 years old.
But here's the difference. When Ray got in the ring as a 13-year-old, the guy across the ring from him knew he was 13 years old. They didn't try to hide it or cover it up. Now, the promoter might not have known, but the guy he squared up with damn sure did. So they took care of him.
And I'm pretty sure Rey Mysterio is still 13 years old if you check him without his mask on. But here's a question. Here's a question that no one's asked too. Is maybe I'm just lost on this, but Brad Anderson as a second generation wrestler wrestling in a local tri-state type situation. Why have we never heard of Brad Anderson before? Why is this the first time?
He's probably had similar incidences somewhere else.
Well, I mean, why haven't we heard about him, period? You got a second generation. You hear about Brian Pillman Jr., you hear about every single person that's got any type of relation to anybody, you hear about him. We have not heard about Brad Anderson one time. He must be a real prick that no one wants to see get over.
Well, I mean, by the short video that we watched, yeah, he's a dick that nobody wants to talk about, and he probably can't perform in ring, so all he can do is shoot on people that are not expecting it. That's the only way he can get himself over. And even at that, he's not getting over. He just drew the wrong kind of heat for himself.
Kind of reminds me
nobody's going to want to book him.
Kind of reminds me of the old boy New Jack and Gene Madrid in a lot of ways. I mean, it wasn't to the extent.
I was going to say no. No, you definitely. You know what? That brings a really good idea to the forefront. You want to give Brad his receipt. Book him against New Jack.
And also, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. A gentleman by the name of Mike Levy. This happened like 10 years ago. Actually, it was a friend of mine I went to school with. I'm not sure the exact story, and I wish Tim Cross was on here. I'd have him call in and tell you guys more about it because he's more familiar with it. But I think it was Ian Rotten's promotion. They flew him out to, I think, Iowa to do something and beat the holy hell out of this guy. If you guys haven't seen it, get with me after the show, and I'll get you guys a link. But it was sick, man.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
But anyway, that's my con. Let's move on. Brian Resner, what is your con for the week, my friend?
My con of the week is the Kabuki Warriors.
You don't like the name?
Yeah, that is the dumbest name ever, and it brings up 2 points for me. One, if you listen to Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, you know that Bruce Pritchard named this tag team, and Kabuki to him is a joke. So if you put the word Kabuki with something, it's trash. And that is what he put on two of the most talented female wrestlers in the whole company. And, I hated the fact that they gave Paige as the manager of that tag team. I hated the fact that they threw them together just because they're Asian. Now I have a whole new reason to hate them. One, because Bruce Pritchard slapped Kabuki on him. And anybody say Bruce didn't do that is a liar. There's no way Bruce didn't do that. So Bruce put a Kabuki sticker on them and then called them Warriors. What the Viking Raiders should be. The Viking Raiders should be the Viking Warriors. The Viking Warriors would be awesome, and it would put them right in line to be the next Road Warriors, which is what they are. But the Kabuki Warriors is just stupid.
Excuse me. Hey, Roscoe Rooster's in here, Brian. I hate to interrupt you, but he's talking about Brad Anderson. He says he was a jobber in a mask for WCW, he believes.
What was his name?
Jobber in a
Rooster.
mask.
Rooster, let me know what his name was. I'd love to know what the name was. The only jobber in a mask I know from WCW was Jerry Lynn.
Hey, look,
JL
there's
character.
Rich Quick in the comment section here on Facebook, guys.
He said it totally reeks of Pritchard, and it does. It totally reeks of Pritchard. And then why would you give him the Warriors name? Like that doesn't like I don't even understand. You know what would make sense if they would have called them the Kabuki Experience. They could be the Kabuki Experience, and I would have accepted it.
Agent Steel says Rich Embry. I'm not sure if that's the WCW guy or not. Anyway, I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying the Kabuki the Kabuki Warriors. That's a stupid name. It's stupid to put them with Paige. It's stupid to even put them together. And you're ruining Kairi Sane and Asuka, and they're the two best women wrestlers in the company. So I don't get it.
I didn't watch the shows this week, but I did read the results, and that is Kairi Sane and Asuka, which, they could be a good tag team. I'm not saying it couldn't be, but like you said, when they threw that Kabuki Warrior name on them, because like you said, for anybody that's listened to Something to Wrestle With, Bruce Pritchard, Kabuki is a joke to him, and that's Bruce Pritchard all day,
Yeah, I mean, and it's true. I mean, yeah, I get it. Asuka comes out with a Kabuki mask. I understand that, but and I'd be okay with it being called like the Kabuki Experience. But when you give the name you should have gave to the War Raiders to a tag team that's definitely not going to stick together in a situation that doesn't even make sense, then you get my con.
Ben Cliff says that should have called them the Bukkake Warriors.
Wow, Ben Cliff.
Derek, you got anything to add to that, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, since both of you guys are still in my loaded cons that I had, Paige is absolutely right now the worst thing that WWE has going on. She cannot talk, should not be a manager whatsoever, and you could have messed them up in any way possible, but still been okay had you not put Paige by their side. Because in ring, those two women are extremely talented. The second part of my con just happened like 5 seconds ago, and it's the fact that John Covey Cole is your Royal Ramble champion and doesn't know that her name is Kairi Sane, not Kairi Sane.
Listen, okay, I speak American, all right.
You trying to get some of that JBL heat?
I'm sorry, I'm not fluent in the NXT New Japan, Japanese, Asian.
Kairi.
She's Kairi Sane. She's on the main roster.
I sound like JR over here trying to say Marty Scurll.
Mark Scurll.
Or Fall. What's your so your con's Paige?
Yeah, I mean,
you can't get over the fact that she's easy on the eyes. I mean, you say that's the worst thing going in WWE right now.
She's really not even that easy on the eyes.
No, she's not even that easy on the eyes. She's not. She's nothing special whatsoever, and we've seen all that she has to offer many times over. You want to talk about if Ben Cliff said Bukkake Warriors, you could just call her the Bukkake Warrior, and you would totally get away with it. But the real deal with Paige is, what are we doing? Are we waiting till this movie goes to DVD before we get rid of her, or what? I mean. Well, I knew that we were going to keep her around to the movie. The movie's out of theaters now, guys. Let's dump this. Let's send this dumpster fire to AEW.
No.
No.
You calm down over there, sir. Calm down.
You can
send her to
like
ICW.
That,
you send her over on Ben's Cliff side of the world, but no, you leave her out of good wrestling.
Let's move on to the pros, gentlemen. I'm going to start with that, too, because I'm being greedy tonight, because that's what champions do sometimes. And in case you guys at home wasn't aware, I am the champion here. Right, Derek?
All right, what's your pro, John?
That's right.
Yeah, you got a belt, I guess.
My pro of the week, go figure, is me. I am the pro of the week in wrestling, and I'll tell you why. Because I did not watch any WWE, but I'll tell you what I did watch. I watched some New Japan. I watched some MLW. I watched some Impact. I didn't get around to Ring of Honor, but Derek, I know I'm going to get this wrong, and I know I'm going to butcher them, so forgive me before I get started. But Shingo versus Show, is that right?
Close enough. I'll give it to you. Close enough.
That was at the Super Juniors first night. That was a good match. Good match. And then you had Dragon Lee versus. Hold on, this is going to be tough. Ishimori. Is that right? Okay, see, I wasn't too bad.
That was close. That was real
Ishimori.
Close.
I really enjoyed that.
You should definitely know Ishimori because I talk about Ishimori, every couple of weeks or something.
I
you
really
should know that name by now.
I really enjoyed that. And of course, Jonathan
He's
Gresham.
The Bone Collector, correct?
Yeah.
The Bone Collector.
Jonathan Gresham, Marty Scurll was great too. The only thing I had a problem with New Japan Wrestling, I'll tell you, great wrestling, but I want more. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Story.
That's the one. I want more story. I want to know what's going on. I understand they're trying to. I don't understand this whole block A of the seventh power of the New Japan Dingleheimer Schmidt. I don't get it.
They have story. They build story. Some of
these
guys
I'm gonna give it time. This is my first show. Like I said, my first New Japan show. So I'm gonna give it a couple weeks and see what happens.
Look, but it's the best of the Super Juniors. It's blocks. So it's 2 round robin tournaments.
So I'm not gonna get no story right now. Is what you're telling me?
You'll get some, but more than likely, you'll develop stories from this tournament that will branch out and. Pretty much the guys that will end up in the finals probably have a little backstory already somewhere. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, Brian Pillman Jr. and Teddy Hart on MLW, I really enjoyed that. There's just some story that I can get behind. I hadn't seen Brian Pillman Jr. in a while, man. He looks more and more like his dad every time I see him.
Is he better in the ring?
I didn't get to see him wrestle. He was just working a promo. But
his stuff in New Japan compared to when I went and watched him in Charleston, he is leaps and bounds better. Or not New Japan, but MLW. Sorry. Yeah,
I know he's got a match he's getting ready to have against Rich Swann. I'm sorry, this should be pretty good. So
against Rich Swann, man, he's got to be good to get in the ring with Rich Swann. Rich Swann is so incredible right now.
And I watched Impact too, Brian. I know you've been on me for a while to watch Impact. I watched Impact. The only thing that really stood out in my mind about Impact was Michael Elgin. Is that right?
Michael Elgin.
That's Michael Elgin. How do you not know Michael Elgin?
Brian, he doesn't watch wrestling,
I know who he was. That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that really stood out in my mind because I knew who he was, but I've never seen him work or anything. The dude looks good. That and the fact that they Tessa Blanchard is now apparently a good guy. I thought she was always a infamous bad guy. She's a good guy now.
Tried to tell you all that.
I know you did, Derek. I'm late to the party. Quit busting my balls. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to work with you here, man.
The whole thing is backwards now. Really, I can't even really dig Impact myself right now. Because A, Tessa Blanchard should be a heel. B, there's no Eli Drake. And that's really kind of throwing me off of Impact. I still watch. But
I'll say this: out of all the 3 shows that I've watched this past week, Impact has the best production value. But that being said, none of them can still contend with the WWE and the way they produce their product.
Also, I don't care about Michael Elgin at all.
Okay.
At all. I don't even want you there. ROH, when Michael Elgin goes to ROH, he's a little bit shorter than everybody else, and he's a badass.
All right, we got to go to Facebook real quick.
A foot shorter than everybody else.
But he's stocky. You know what I mean? That's what I liked about him. He
is stocky, but he's just not entertaining. Unless he's in the match.
Casey Mitchum on Facebook, guys. She's there. This question's for you. She said, "How did Covey get this belt? I'm real confused. Why don't you enlighten her, Mr. Jones, as to how I became the Royal Ramble champion?"
I would be absolutely happy to. So there was a tournament between myself and Richie Acevedo where Brian Resner was the winner. And Richie decided to give John the belt because he felt bad for him because he knew nothing about wrestling and had to keep reading cheat sheets off the paper.
It was his birthday, Derek. It's not just because he felt bad for him. It was his birthday. He gave it to him as a birthday present.
Yeah,
Brian
and he
did
felt
win.
bad
You
for him
are
because
right.
his
Brian
kids hadn't
did
even
win.
called him all day.
But that's
And
okay. It's okay, Casey, because next week we're having a Ramble in the Bank, and Derek's going to have his shot to win the Ramble in the Bank to go against me for the Royal Ramble Championship. So he'll
in
get his
any
shot.
way he wants.
Any way you want
Any
it,
way I
that's
want.
the way you need it.
You know, I hate to bet against you, Derek, and I'm not really betting against you as much as I'm just hoping that Michael Loving wins, because the rumor is, if Michael Loving wins, John Covey will have to defend the Royal Ramble Championship in a G-string oil wrestling match with Mike Loving.
If
And
I
that-
win, can
that's
I
the-
make John Covey Cole compete against Mike
No,
Loving in a G-String
that's
oil
not how
wrestling
it
match
works.
for that? But
No.
That's not how
No,
it
that's
works.
not how it works. But if Michael Loving wins and you go into the oil pit with the thong on against Michael Loving, we will lose all of our viewers, but it will be gold. It will be gold. All right, so is it my time for my pro?
Yeah. Then go ahead.
Okay, my pro is Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse was extra dark this week, and we got to see the new character that Bray Wyatt is bringing to the forefront, which is pretty awesome. It's like almost like a sadistic clown. The best way I can describe it to someone who watched zero amounts of WWE this week is, have you ever seen Spawn?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of a more human-sized version of the Spawn clown.
Really?
Yeah. Are you familiar with Slipknot?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, the guy who makes Corey Taylor's mask.
Just the
Don't
only
sing. Don't
thing.
sing. Don't
What,
sing.
what's he gonna
Don't
do?
sing.
Leave a studio, Brian? He's not
Don't
even here.
sing. No, listen to me.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so the guy who makes Corey Taylor's mask, his name is Jason Baker. He works effects for. He does effects for Tom Savini. You know who Tom Savini is?
I don't.
He was Sex Machine on the Dusk Till Dawn movie.
Okay.
But he's also a horror movie director, and he's done some really awesome stuff. And all of the effects that he does are worked on by a guy named Jason Baker, who also does Corey Taylor's mask from Slipknot. He actually put Bray Wyatt's mask together, and tattoo artist Kyle A. Scarborough, maybe Scarborough.
I think it's Scarborough.
I think
Say
it's
that three
Boro,
times
though.
fast, Brian.
Is it?
I think it's Scarborough, but I'm not sure about that, so I'm not gonna swear to that. He's a tattoo artist. He actually designed the mask. Vince McMahon greenlit it, and then they sent it over to Jason Baker to put the masks together. And man, it looks awesome. I think we're going to see. It's almost like a reverse Finn Balor gimmick. You know, you're going to have the Mr. Rogers character, and then he flips into the evil clown character. And it's kind of like a gimmick infringement almost on Finn Balor, because, you know, Finn Balor does the demon thing, but he doesn't do it nearly as much as I think Bray Wyatt's gonna.
My worry is with this. Mind you, I haven't seen the character yet. I'm gonna go watch later because I've been dying all week to find out about this, because I've heard about this character that he unveiled, and I heard that the rabbit was back. Did he come back to life?
It was funny. The rabbit was like all like taped up and was like he was like in a chair crying and like shaking.
That's great.
It was pretty interesting.
Well, I'm dying to see it. My only worry is, how is it going to convey in the ring? I know Bray Wyatt's amazing, but how's this character going to convey in the ring?
Did you get a chance to see what Bully Ray said?
No, I didn't.
Bully Ray said that he does not want to see this character get in the ring until he absolutely has to. He's like, I want this guy to terrorize the WWE. I want him to be in Vince's office and the lights won't go on. I want him to be an absolute nightmare until it makes sense for him to have a match. So
Yeah,
if Bully
brilliant. That's
if
brilliant.
Bully Ray got his way, Bray Wyatt wouldn't be in the ring for a long time. Now, the WWE way, I'd say they're going to rush it, probably do it next week.
And Bully Ray is way behind this character because he's been at ROH events, and he's a heel right now, big time, and he'll even come out and drop a yowie wowie every so often.
Who will?
Bully Ray at Ring of Honor. He is solidly behind Bray Wyatt right now. He's a big mark right now for Bray.
The way WWE books, though, I'd say it won't be too long before he is jobbing to Lars Sullivan, but I'm hoping they do something good with it. Bray Wyatt's comment to Jason Baker was, "Man, I think you just saved my career," when he handed him the mask.
Yeah, I did see that. I wasn't sure who he was referring to. I didn't read the article, but I'm excited to see where it's going to go because the few weeks that it's been on the show, that has literally been the only thing that really excited me about WWE. And honestly, that's the only thing that I can think of that I didn't see this week that I wish I would have seen out of everything I read. You know what I mean?
Right.
Derek, I'll go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say there's also a four-way match on SmackDown that you probably need to go check out.
Who was it again?
Ali, all the guys in the Money in the Bank. Ali, Andrade, Randy Orton, and somebody else.
Okay. I'll check that out.
It's a pretty good match.
Okay. Derek, do you share his sentiments, or do you have your own different pro of the week?
Both. I do share his sentiments. I think that was great. I'm glad WWE has something, a silver lining, if you will, to kind of look forward to each and every week, because I'm still going to watch it regardless of how much crap they try to force feed down my throat. But at least I have something to look forward to. And, Bray Wyatt's always kind of been
You're going to keep watching no matter how much crap they shove down your throat.
Yeah, John,
with all of this content out there, I'm a diehard WWE guy. Always have been. I'm fed up. And you're telling me you're still going to watch this crap if they keep giving you crap?
That's the difference, John. You're a diehard WWE guy. I am a pro wrestling fanatic. I will watch anything that I have access to.
And you know what? I agree with Derek 100%. And I've seen I don't know if you guys check out kayfabe news ever. It's like fake wrestling news.
Yeah, it's comical sometimes.
Yeah, comical. They put out a comical article the other day, and it made me think of me and you, Derek, because it was like Vince McMahon says that we should watch it even if it is bad, and I was like, he's right. And then I was like, oh, this is kayfabe news. But yeah, I totally agreed with Vince McMahon's fake comment that we should watch it even if it's bad, because I do.
Well, let me say this. It has really taken a lot of effort out of me not to watch SmackDown and Raw from this week, just because it's been instilled as a part of my week. Even when I was watching these other promotions, I'm like, yeah, these guys are good, but this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be watching WWE. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm probably going to get much sleep tonight. I'm probably going to go watch SmackDown and Raw after the show tonight. Hell, I might even watch 205 Live and NXT just so I can binge watch, you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. So that's your pro also, Derek?
No, that's not my pro.
Okay.
I just said I
pro?
agreed with him. So my pro, because, I don't just watch WWE. I watch anything I have access to. My pro comes from Rev Pro on May 10th from York Hall. Last week my pro was El Phantasmo coming to New Japan, joining the Bullet Club. Well,
I've seen him too. He looked good.
He's talented. I'm telling you, you keep watching the guy, you're going to be a fan. I can't wait to watch what he and Will Ospreay will do in Best of the Super Juniors together, or just in New Japan in general.
And block F or block D or.
Yeah, that stuff gets me too. The blocks and all that crazy rules. I don't know.
Keep it simple, man.
It's simple. You're overthinking it. You're looking too far into it. All right. So El Phantasmo and David Starr for Rev Pro had the first ever ladder match in Rev Pro history for the British Cruiserweight Championship. Fantastic match. It's unbelievable good. The only downside about the match at all were the fans. They were kind of quiet, but I think it was just so much of shock watching this match happen because there's so many good moments in the match. I'm not going to use the S word for you, John. There's so many good moments in the match. There's really awesome setup with a ladder and a couple chairs that it's unreal match. Unreal.
I haven't seen it, but I'll have to check it out too.
Yeah.
Where's Rev Pro located?
They're a UK brand.
Yes, that's what I thought. You're just trying to give your buddy Ben Cliff across the pond a rub. That's all it is.
Look, it good wrestling is good wrestling. It doesn't matter where it happens.
That's true. That's true. Let's go to the Facebook comments, guys, and get a couple pros and cons from those folk. Let's see. Integrity on a pole match. Everyone is a loser, says Rich Quick.
He cracks me up.
All these people are talking smack about me and Mike Loving in a what'd you call it?
A hot oil thong match?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
You're going to think it's disgusting when I load Mike with all the easy questions.
Let's
so
see.
I'm pretty sure while you're scrolling through there was a nice little comment from Jonathan Darwin too, saying that there's no way possible he's going to lose to Mike Loving.
Oh, so I guess he's saying he's going to enter the competition, huh?
So I guess Jonathan Darwin's going to step up in there.
We'll see. Let's see. I'm not really seeing much here. There you go. Ben Cliff says pros: Cesaro versus Ray, the ending of Baron Corbin versus Ricochet. Sami Zayn,
that was good.
Sami Zayn being in the Money in the Bank. He's in the Money in the Bank. How'd I miss that? What happened? That's the 4-way?
Yeah, no. Sami Zayn gets in the Money in the Bank by beating Braun Strowman.
Oh, yeah. Strowman's out and Zayn's in?
No, I think Braun's still in, isn't he?
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that, but I thought that they were still going to have Braun in. It's just now a 9 instead of an 8. You
guys are going to give Ben Cliff and just have a big circle jerk or something. He says, that's why I love Derek Jones and Brian Resner, pro wrestling fanatics, same as me.
We love you too, Ben Cliff.
We got to take a commercial break, guys. We're going to come right back and talk about some other stuff going on in the news. And just so you know, Ben Cliff, I'm a fanatic too. Don't listen to these guys. They're just telling you a bunch of lies. I just told you I watched New Japan, MLW, Impact.
For the first time ever, John watched some wrestling.
We'll be right back, guys.
Since 2001, drug companies dumped 1 billion opioid pills in West Virginia, causing over 3,000 overdose deaths and thousands of babies born addicted by no fault of their own. I'm attorney Stephen New. If you're the grandparent or guardian of a child born with neonatal abstinence syndrome, call me. I'll help you seek just compensation.
Call the law offices of Stephen P. New at 1-844-BAD-PILLS before time runs out.
All right, I'm sending in this week a little segment that I'd like to call I Object with Stephen New, attorney at law. And what I object
you got any news
to
about
this
Andre?
week is Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan sucks. I've been anti-Lars Sullivan the entire time that he has gotten this push. But it's beyond that with me this week. This week it was discovered that Lars Sullivan has been making on the internet for a long time racist, homophobic, and anti-Semitic remarks. He doesn't deserve a spot in the WWE, and he deserves to have his push stopped and put out of the company. Lars Sullivan has made remarks against African Americans, Latinos, Asians, and female wrestlers. That has no place in a publicly traded corporation like World Wrestling Entertainment. Vince, fire Lars Sullivan, get him out of the company, and do what's best for business. Hulk Hogan was punished for a year being placed out of the WWE as if he never existed for saying the N-word. That wasn't right either, and I'm in no way trying to say that two rights make a wrong. I'm not. But what I am saying is that Lars Sullivan should have no future in World Wrestling Entertainment or professional wrestling. There's no place in that for the type of human being that he apparently is. I have said all along, talent-wise, he's Gene Snitsky without the good complexion. Well, apparently, Lars Sullivan is as ugly on the inside as he is on the outside. I object to Lars Sullivan. This is Stephen New, attorney at law.
I knew you would.
Hey, there you go, guys. Stephen P. New making his presence known here tonight. He objects Lars Sullivan, and I can't say I blame him. It's not really nothing new. It's been circulating really since about November. I think this may have had something to do with his panic attack that he had. Probably worried about what people was going to think of him or this and that. But
alleged panic attack. Maybe that was just their story to keep him off screen.
Probably.
Here's something that he said that not a lot of people are talking about yet. Is he in 2005 said that he banged Ronda Rousey? Did you know that?
I did not know that, but I did see this today that Lars Sullivan will have a $100,000 fine. This is from the WWE. He's going to have a $100,000 fine and be required to compete a sensitivity training for his past offensive commentary.
That's interesting that they gave him a fine for something he did like 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
All right.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I don't think he's that good. Why not just say, all right, bud, appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you next go around. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd hang on to him after all them tweets, especially when Ronda Rousey finds out what he said. She's going to come back mad.
Well, she going to come back. We're going to have an intergender match. It's going to be Lars Sullivan versus Ronda Rousey. And
they're going to tussle again.
They'll tussle. You sound like Tony Schiavone now.
They're going to tussle again. I like a big woman that can tussle with me. That's what Tony said.
Speaking of Tony Schiavone, did you guys see where Matt Coon is leaving Truth and Consequences at the end of the month with Vince Russo? He says it has nothing to do with Vince Russo. Did you see that?
Yeah, but you know what? It was really weird the way he talked about it. It seemed like it was very passive aggressive.
It was weird, wasn't it?
It was a passive aggressive type of deal. And you know, it made me think that maybe Vince Russo came to his senses and was like, I can't be on here with Truth and Consequences with a guy who doesn't know anything about anything. And I think maybe Vince Russo kicked him to the curb.
You think so?
Maybe so. I don't know, but I think
Matt Coon claims that he's wanting to have more time for his music projects. He's got a music school.
I'm sure.
He's got softball, Brian.
He's got some softball to do. Well, that's cool. He's probably better suited with a bunch of kids in a music class playing with flutes than he is talking about wrestling.
Speaking of softball, you like my Ramblers jersey there? Huh? Like that?
No.
Okay. Okay. Here's the big news this week. Come out this morning. AEW has announced that their television home will be on TNT, which was rumored for a while.
TNT announced it too.
Yeah, TNT announced it also. Turner will provide exclusive multi-platform access for fans to watch AEW events airing live weekly matches on TNT in primetime. Hasn't said what day. A lot of people are speculating on Tuesday night. They're also going to be streaming live through Warner Media's BR Live, which is Bleacher Report Live and or pay-per-view. BR Live will be the exclusive streaming platform in the U.S. for Double or Nothing. So I'm guessing the way that they've put this out, it's not going to be on the Fight app. Did you guys take that the same way?
It's kind of what it sounds like, but they're already promoting all of StarCast to air on the Fight app.
StarCast is not AEW though, Derek.
I'm fully aware.
Okay, you got to watch this wrestling, so do you know what's going on all the way around? There's different companies there, bud.
You know, something I noticed was that TNT promoted the AEW announcement very Nitro-ish.
Yeah, with the flames in the background. Yeah,
very nice. So it made me feel like Nitro was coming back.
I'm excited. I don't think that AEW is crazy enough to go head to head with WWE just yet, but then again, you never know.
Nah, they're going on Tuesday nights. They already bought the trademark for that horrible name.
Tuesday Dynamite or something.
Tuesday Night Dynamite. I don't think it's Jimmy Walker.
That sounds like something Dusty Rhodes would come up with. It's called
Jimmy
Tuesday Dynamite.
Jimmy Walker officially signed by AEW.
Hey,
Dynamite.
Speaking
I
of,
don't know, he might be dead.
Speaking of Jimmy Walker signing with AEW, Earl Hebner has signed with AEW. Did you guys see that?
Seen it today.
He needs a job.
He does. He's going to go there and start selling T-shirts and different AEW apparel out of the trunk of his car and make him a little side money. You know what I'm saying?
I screwed Brett.
Double or Nothing will cost $49.99 to stream on BR Live. Spectrum was accidentally listing the standard definition version for $5. Unless they've changed it, that will be your best option if you happen to be a subscriber to Spectrum. I don't expect them to keep that the same. But there's ways to watch this. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and give a plug to our good old buddy, Casey Mitchum. She's the manager of Hooters in Charleston, West Virginia, and she informed me that they are doing a showing of AEW Double or Nothing May 25th. So if you guys aren't doing anything and you're in the Charleston, West Virginia area, go hang out over there. They're going to have wing specials, drink specials, I'm sure. You guys are going to laugh at me on this one, but she told me that we should bring a table down and set up and yada, yada, yada. And I told her I couldn't because I had prior engagements that night. I'm not going to be able to watch Double or Nothing live. I have.
You're going to be playing softball.
I'm not playing softball. I have a gig with JC Square that night, so I'm kind of covered up. But if you guys ain't doing nothing and look for somewhere to watch it, go to Hooters in Charleston.
Why would you book something that night, John?
That's what a couple people's told me. I mean,
like we've known for months when this was going to happen.
Baby needs new shoes, Derek. Baby needs new shoes. You know what I'm saying? You gonna buy my baby new shoes?
Yeah, I go buy you baby pair of $12 shoes to stay home and watch. Yeah.
He said he would do it.
I got you.
That's cool right there. That's cool.
Can I throw a little news piece out?
Sure, throw it out, man.
I've actually got two. I've got one that's LJN. If you are familiar with LJN, then you know all about the big rubber figures and the big rubber figures that came out when we were actually. I think all of us were probably like in diapers when these things came out. Derek was not even born. But LJN figures are the big rubber figures that we had of the WWE superstars back in the day.
I had a JYD. I remember that one.
I have literally almost every single one of them in a big tub at my house that my not even 1-year-old yet plays with almost every day. He for some reason loves the Iron Sheik and plays with the Iron Sheik one all the time. I'm not sure why he picked Iron Sheik out of a whole tub of them, but I swear.
You know why he picked Iron Sheik, Brian? He's
why?
Giving you a premonition. When he gets older and becomes a wrestler, he's going to be a heel.
Right? I literally can bury the Iron Sheik at the bottom of the tub, and he will search through and find him and pull him out and be like, Iron Sheik, all right. No, he doesn't say that because he doesn't really say much except for Mama and Dada and bye. But
it looks like Dad with a tan.
Maybe that's why. I don't know. But either way, LJN is back in the wrestling game. They have not announced anybody else that they're making yet, but officially, and I know Derek was telling me off the air that they released a Young Bucks tag team set for C2E2 that was exclusive to C2E2. Well, you said those were in colorful outfits.
Yes.
Now they have a Young Bucks in black outfits that are all over the place. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at Kmart. You can get them at Sears. And that's what they look like right there that Derek is showing us on his screen. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's pretty small. But they are in black outfits.
Derek is pretty small.
Totally just bought these.
Yeah, Derek's already got them. He'll probably be on the show next week. But yeah, the LJN Young Bucks tag team box set, and the box looks just like the old school packaging. I mean, it's really cool. I hope they do this with a lot of wrestlers. I'd love to get Kenny Omega, LJN, or even Marty Scurll, all kinds of different.
As cool as they are, you can't really put them up in a power slam or a power bomb. They're just there.
Right.
I like my limbs to
You
bend.
can if you have enough imagination, John.
Well, I'm a kid from the Hasbro generation. When I played with my wrestlers and ran my wrestling federation, they were all Hasbros or those solid plastic WCW figures that were terrible for
I
doing
had a Vader
moves.
and a Sting and a Hogan.
Well, the Vader. Now, if you had a Vader only came out. Oh, see, that was a LJN ripoff Vader.
That's it
That
for
wasn't-
days, right there. That's it. Just that's for
Yeah,
days.
that was an LJN ripoff Vader. That's not an actual LJN, but it is the same style.
See, I love that one. You know why? Power
Why?
bomb all day, baby. Power bomb all day.
You could do it.
I can even do a Vader bomb if I want to. You know what I'm saying?
You know why I didn't use that Vader? I wasn't able to use that Vader because of the fact that he was way taller than all of my Hasbros. So I actually used a Thundercats Panthera with electrical tape as my Vader. That was my Vader. But
I'll tell you what I did.
Shaved his ears down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you what I did one time. This wasn't for me. This was for my son there a while back. It was after Cody Rhodes went from Cody Rhodes to Stardust. My son had a Cody Rhodes figure, and he wanted him to be Stardust. So I pulled out the old Sharpie. I got you, boy. I got you.
Oh man, I Sharpied some every single time that one of my guys did a heel turn. They got a Sharpie goatee. All of them got a Sharpie goatee.
Now, Brian,
That's
you
just the way
mentioned
it
that
went.
you had a second piece of news. You want to go ahead and throw that out there?
I do have a second piece of news. Inside sources say that Andrade stormed into Vince McMahon's office this week and asked him for a push. Said that he wanted to be pushed, and Vince McMahon's response was, "Learn English and then come back and talk to me." And that is why we seen Andrade attempting to speak on SmackDown. And it was terrible. He sounded like he sounded like someone you would buy coloring books for Christmas for, and it was really, really bad trying to do English. But he is in English classes now and learning English currently because Vince McMahon's response to him wanting a push was, "Go learn some English."
Don't speak English. Don't push.
Now,
no ticky, no laundry, right?
I think with that comment that we can now see exactly why Shinsuke Nakamura gets a no push.
No push for you. It's being reported that Triple H is growing very frustrated with Vince McMahon running the WWE. Triple H, all I can say is join the party. I don't know if that's true or not.
My piece of Andrade news came from that article.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't read the whole articles. You know me, I'm a highlight kind of guy. Just touch on the.
Well, in the article, they talk about Andrade going in for the push.
Casey on Facebook says Charlotte's going to help Andrade speak English.
I hope so.
She's going to help him do something, but I don't know if it's going to be speaking English. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's an incredible talent. It would be terrible for him to not. And I mean, I don't understand why he has to speak English if he's got Selena Vega. With Zelina Vega as a part of it, I don't really understand why he's even got to speak at all.
They're about to get ready to get rid of Zelina Vega, and they're going to replace her with Paige. It's going to be Paige and Andrade together. That'd be terrible.
Oh, man, that would be. Then I'll be talking about firing him.
You're going to like this, Brian. It was reported that there's interest within WWE to bring in Eli Drake, but the report said that he would have to get his Impact contract issues lined out first. And apparently there is a 1-year no-compete clause in the contract, so I don't know the status on that.
Eli Drake, if you're listening, call Stephen P. New. Tell him you have mesothelioma and you need out of your contract. He will help you.
Absolutely.
Just drop the M-bomb.
Absolutely. Speaking of Stephen P. New, I was close to giving him my pro this week for the simple fact when I was watching MLW and Cornette was doing his thing, somebody said something about Cornette's high-priced lawyers, and Cornette said, yeah, Stephen P. New. So Stephen P. New got the rub on national TV from Jim Cornette. I was like, that's pretty sweet right there.
Jim
Cornette's all over him because I was listening to the Cornette Experience, and every 15 minutes there's a Steve P. New reference.
I listen to the Cornette Experience religiously every week, and he always talks about Steve P. New. And it's not like, we're sponsored by Steve P. New. It's I'm going to call Steve P. New because this guy needs sued, or I talked to Steve P. New yesterday, and he said that's not legal, and
Susie just wants to wear her hat.
He's always talking about Stephen P. New.
Right.
Speaking of Jim Cornette, did you see the package that he released about the Midnight Express recently? Did you see that?
I heard him talking about it. It sounds like it's an amazing deal.
Well, they what they did was Stan Lane's mom found 2 boxes of the original scrapbooks. They had 50 of them. They paired them up with the best of Midnight Express DVD, which includes all the matches that Vince doesn't own. And they also had like an autographed picture of the Stan Lane version, an autographed picture of the Dennis Condrey version. The book was autographed, and I think it had a poster or something else. It was a big package. They put $500 on this thing, and it sold out in like 2 hours.
Wow.
20
so if you
grand.
missed out, you just missed out. There's no grabbing one now.
No, they're gone. I don't understand why he didn't take one of them and make 1 million copies.
Well, he may have. He's just telling everybody he didn't. And 10 years from now, he's going to do it again. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even wait 10 years. I would have told everybody there was 50 of them, and I'd have sold as many as would sell.
Only got one left, guys. You better hurry and call and get it. Santana of LAX is going to have to take some time off to heal up his knee. He has a stage 2 tear in his MCL. This is unfortunate for not only LAX, but also Impact, considering they just recently won the Impact Tag Team Championships. I hate that for him. An injury is never fun, but it's a good thing he caught it before it was completely tore, because then it could be months and months and months of...
or maybe forever.
Yeah, possibly.
Could have lost his career.
And the last piece of news I have this week, gentlemen, Killer Kross has asked for his release from his contract in Impact due to him not being happy with his creative direction or his pay. I'm not familiar with Killer Kross. Is it somebody I need to look into? You guys recommend Killer Kross?
Killer Kross is incredible, and he is lying. It's not that he's unhappy with his creative direction or unhappy with his money. He was fine with all that until the WWE showed interest in him. And now that the WWE is showing interest in Killer Kross wants out of Impact as quickly as he can get to go straight to the big leagues. Killer Kross is incredible, and I absolutely love his character. I love the way he presents himself. I love him in the ring. He is awesome.
So what you're saying is there's a spot in WWE waiting on him?
That is not what I said at all.
What we're saying is WWE might have interest in signing him at some point. We would never use that S word.
And he might have some future moments in the company.
Moments are good moments.
Before we keep it moving, Rich Quick on Facebook here says, how about Seth and Becky becoming public? I could care less.
Did you see what Rusev said?
Uh-uh.
Rusev was like, I wonder if they'll get in trouble.
Probably not, Rusev, considering there wasn't a current angle going on where they were separated.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. WWE broke the story, kind of out of the way before they ever did, because they had the image posted, and it's going to be part of one of the WWE 24 series at some point.
And having the 2 champions being, you got the women's champion and the Universal champion dating, that's kind of a story in itself.
Yeah, it's good publicity for sure. They just need to throw in a third wheel, maybe throw the Royal Ramble champion in there with them. We have us a party, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, Seth would use you up.
Oh, gosh. He's going to burn it down, is he? Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with our weekly topic, which is going to be a tough one to get to the bottom of. The topic is what has been the biggest missed opportunity of the WWE. We'll be right back.
2 attorneys, 1 location. Gavin Ward and Josh Miller.
Hello, my name's Gavin Ward. I'm an attorney serving Southern West Virginia. If you need help with a real estate transaction or closing, probating a estate, a property dispute, estate planning, or bankruptcy, give us a call. We can help.
Hello, I'm attorney Josh Miller. I serve Southern West Virginia. If you've been injured in a car accident or hurt on the job or charged with a crime, please come see me today. I can help.
For a free consultation, call 681-207-7400.
Dorsey's Hogtails, located on U.S. Route 60 just off of Route 19 and just past Midland Trail High School. There's always something going on at Dorsey's, and you can bet that whatever it is, it's a good time. Be sure to try some of the best food in Southern West Virginia. Then you can sharpen those billiard skills with a relaxing game of pool. Dorsey's also offers some of the best live local music in the region on most weekends. So what are you waiting for? Stop in and see what makes Dorsey's so great. That's Dorsey's Hogtails, located on U.S. Route 60 just off of Route 19 in Hyco.
All right, guys, welcome back. Real quick, I want to let you guys know that Lake Stevens and Surveyor, where we was actually at last year with Superior Championship Wrestling, Brian. They're having their annual beach blast starting on Friday, May 31st and going through Sunday, June 2nd. Going to have carnival rides for the kids on Friday and Saturday, live music by Under the Gun, Core, Brandon Perkins, and they're going to have some kind of church in the park on Sunday at June 2nd. So if you guys are looking for something to do,
they're not going to have any wrestling?
They're not going to have any wrestling this year. I actually inquired about it. I know you're going to Florida, but I was contemplating getting a ring up here and putting on a show myself, but they said they didn't have it in the budget. I said, well, I'm not doing it for free. I got to pay the boys, you know what I mean?
Got to have the ducats.
Got to have the ducats. But this week's topic, gentlemen, it's going to be a lot of fun, I believe. What has been the biggest missed opportunity of the WWE? And would you guys like to start, or would you like me to start this week?
I think I need to go last because I still haven't figured it out.
Still pondering, are we?
I've got so many, and I just don't know what to pick.
Well, you know, whenever we're done throwing ours out, I'm sure all three of us are going to have extras to throw out as well that could spark a conversation. Well, hell, we could be here for another 4 hours, you know what I'm saying, if we wanted to be.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, for me, it's a kind of a culmination of things. I'm going to mix these two together. If this is illegal, then I apologize, but I got to do it this way. And it's the WCW invasion. I understand the contract deal that was going on, and that was actually WWF when they first took over, whatever. I think they should have milked that out for a year or two, not did anything with it really, and then brought it back strong. They should have brought it back with Eric Bischoff leading the helm. They could have, had some of the bigger stars from WCW there, not your Mark Jendrax and Sean O'Hare's. Nothing against those guys, but the thing was killed before it even got started because there was no credibility in it at all. For the WCW fans that followed it over, you wanted to see the Goldbergs, the Stings, the Ric Flairs, and all these other guys. But anyway, what I was saying, that culminating with Vince McMahon versus Eric Bischoff at WrestleMania, I think that is something that would have sold a lot of tickets, and I would have really enjoyed that myself. But there's a lot of stuff that I could have picked out there, which I'm sure we'll get to here shortly. But for me personally, as a fan, as engulfed and as embedded as I was in the Monday Night Wars in the WCW and the WWF, I feel like they screwed the pooch bad on this one. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned it because it was definitely one of those that was floating around in my possibility bowl. But I was thinking about, the contracts really screwed it up. But, there's a way they could have got around the contract issue. Because
no. Oh, no, wait.
Well, no, this is what I would have done if I was in the position that Vince McMahon was in at that time, is I would have ended SmackDown at that point, and I would have continued on with WCW, and I would have had Nitro, and I would have moved Nitro to another night, and I would have continued all those guys' contracts for WCW, and I would have had people switching back and forth and going back and forth for a while until the contracts ran out.
See, I actually read somewhere, Brian. Actually, I read it here recently, but I can't remember where. But that was initially Vince McMahon's plan, and then seemingly overnight he changed his mind and decided that he was just going to shut it down.
Well, see, I think that, you know, I know that Time Warner didn't want them to be on their TV anymore, and that's cool. I think you could have easily went to USA and said, "Hey, we want Monday Nitro 2." You know, it could have happened. If they'd have put more into it, I think that it would have worked, and I would have loved to have seen that play out like that. You know, they did it with ECW. They brought back ECW. There are still awesome WCW things that they should be using. Like, for instance, they do a Night of the Champions. Why is that not called Clash of the Champions?
It beats the hell out of me.
There is such thing as Halloween. Why isn't there a Halloween Havoc? There's a lot of different things. I mean, can you imagine WWE doing a show on the beach? Beach Blast? Why are we Bash at the Beach? Why are we not? I don't understand.
I always wanted to see that old Saturday night rotating ring in the water. That was worldwide. Was it worldwide?
Worldwide had the rotating ring.
Oh, because some of us is older than others. I was a little guy then. You was probably like 12 then. Was it 1992 or something?
It was.
Real quick, guys, on Facebook, Ben Cliff says that his most misused was Rikishi being the person who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin. He did it for you, Rock. I did it for the people.
He did it for the Rock.
Hey, let me see if this is my ex-wife or see if it's one of my children calling in. Hey, what's up? You're on with the Royal Ramble. Who we got? Hello.
That was your ex-wife.
I guess that was I guess that answers that question, huh? Sorry, as you were, gentlemen.
But there was a lot of things they could have done with that invasion angle. I agree. It was definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah, because that's the biggest wrestling's ever been, right leading up to that point, and it was just, I feel like they lost a lot of viewers whenever that happened. But anyway, I could talk about that for a long time. Derek, since Brian has requested to go last, what is your pick for this week's topic?
So my biggest missed opportunity for WWE is definitely 100% with the Nexus. Nexus was hot when they come in, and they were hot when they were shut down. There was not a dull moment with that group. They had real heat as heels. They had controversy when they come in and ripped everything apart. And, you know, even little Daniel Bryan, being as over as he was on the indies, got heat for choking Justin Roberts with his tie that led to all kind of nonsense. They stopped that way too early. They should have kept pushing that and pushing that and pushing that. And had they done that, at least 5 of those guys would have been main event players at some point, big name stars that we would still have in WWE on top of the food chain.
They come in hot, man. They were coming in to get their spot. You know what I'm saying?
They were trying to create good moments. Yeah.
Hey, we got a call coming in from Canada, boys. Hey, what's up? You're on with the Royal Ramble. Who we got? Hello. Something wrong with your unit, old buddy. I can't hear you. Can you hear me now?
Remix.
All right.
I can't catch you, bro.
Thanks.
You have to turn your phone. You got to turn your feet down when you call us in, guys. I can't hear what you're saying. Anyway, gentlemen, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Nexus was definitely a missed opportunity, and I know a certain WWE superstar who agrees with you as well.
I'll try this again. Hello, you're on with the Royal Ramble. Who we got?
Sorry, Daddy.
Hey, what's up, Johnny? You're on with the Ramble, buddy. How you doing?
I want to distract your show. I'll hang up.
Hey, no, you're fine. I want you to answer this question for me before you go, okay?
Okay.
What has been the biggest missed opportunity of the WWE where they could have done something great, but they went the other way and did something crappy?
I don't know.
You don't know? You sound pretty tired, man. I'll tell you what. I'll call you after the show, buddy. Okay.
Okay, but I love you.
Love you too, buddy. He'll be passed out when the show's over. I almost guarantee it. Anyway, go ahead, guys. Sorry.
I was going to say a certain WWE superstar would agree with you as well, by the name of Heath Slater.
Yeah.
They got. Go ahead. You can go.
I mean, like, and Heath's one of those prime examples because, like, Heath and Justin Gabriel as a tag team, like, they were great. And now, I mean, you know, Heath at least is still relevant. Justin Gabriel, I mean, he's on Ring of Honor, but he's not doing anything. And he's such a talented dude in ring.
So talented.
Such a shame to waste him like they did. I mean, it just. But and then you know they put Punk at the helm of it for a little while, and ideally they should have kept running with that, and then eventually just let the Nexus completely turn on Punk and throw him back out of the group. Because I mean the Nexus didn't need Punk after a while. I mean it was good for him for a little bit to have that legitimate big name leader for him, but. Barrett would have held his own, no problem. I mean,
there are so many people that were a part of that group that could have been a big deal, and Wade Barrett being one of them. Like, is it true that Wade Barrett is signed to AEW?
He has been offered a very lucrative contract.
Last time I heard from him, he said he's done with wrestling. He's acting now.
He is acting, but like I said, they offered him a very lucrative contract, and they had the image made up of Barrett being. All elite, but I don't know.
Hell, I could make that image. That don't mean nothing.
I don't know that it's true.
They called him up and said, hey, Wade, we got a spot for you over here. You know what he said? He said, well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
He is trying to make some good moments in life. That's very true, John. But the thing about the image that, even you could have made anybody could have made. The original one was shared by somebody who is signed to All Elite Wrestling as a little bit of just a filler out to see what people thought about it.
That's just a rib, brother.
I love Wade Barrett. I wish Wade Barrett was still part of things.
Yeah, and they also said it was a rib when the Young Bucks were over in Japan and they were showing an action figure of Adrian Neville. But guess where Pac is now? All Elite Wrestling.
I'll say this about Mr. Wade Barrett. I'm not sure what his shoot name is, but he could very easily be
Stu Bennett.
Stu Bennett, there you go. He could very easily be the answer to this week's question because he's great. He's great on the mic. He's a great worker. He looks good. He's believable in the ring. I mean, he just had the total package.
I mean, is he not the answer that I just gave, John? I mean, was my answer not good enough? But I didn't want it to just be Wade Barrett. I wanted it to be all-inclusive with all the guys from Nexus.
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
Right.
Even Ryback?
Yeah, even Ryback?
Yeah, even Ryback. Had Ryback been left alone in that group for a little while and actually been able to learn from some of those guys and be a little more humble and get a little bit safer in ring, he could have been a big deal.
What about Dave Otunga?
No, Otunga, there was no hope for Otunga.
I'm just trying to shit on Derek's answer here, Brian. Let me alone.
But Otunga is doing exactly what Otunga needs to be doing, and he's a man behind a microphone, and he would have been great for that for somebody else.
This is different, but what's the USO fellow that wrestles for was it MLW or was it Impact? I seen he wrestled a big old fat dude this past week. Joey,
there's a Fatu on MLW.
I can't remember his name. He was impressive. I really enjoyed him. His finish is a big old splash off the top. Something Fatu, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. I liked his work.
Who do you wrestle? Falaba?
No, it was what's the dude's name? He was a bit on a roll. Big old fat dude. I mean, he's probably pushing 500 pounds.
Not Falaba?
No. Facebookers, if you guys know the answer there, throw it out there. I can't think of the guy's name. See, that's the problem with jumping in all these new shows at the same time. I can't remember which damn show I seen him on. Derek, you ever Googling?
I'll find it for you because I can't think of his name right off.
It's like a real person's name. He had a first and last name. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that
it wasn't like Phantasmo or something like that. It was.
So it's Jacob Fatu is who you're thinking of originally.
But who did he wrestle?
Barrington Hughes.
That's him. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of his, but I like the what's his name again? Fatu. What was his first name? Joey.
Jacob.
Jacob Fatu. I liked him. He's impressive.
Is he a part of the Fatu family? Is he kin, he's kin to the Usos?
Yeah.
Is it a brother?
I can't remember if he's a brother or first cousin.
Hey, he's family though, Brian. So you know what that means, don't you? It means there's a spot in the WWE for him. Is what it means.
It means he's going to create good moments in life. I'm pretty sure. Rikishi is his uncle.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure. I think he's Tonga Kid's kid, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
interesting.
Brian, I think I've stalled long enough. Have you been able to come up with your number one answer?
Not really. I've broke it down to 2.
Okay, that's 2's better than 5 or 10, like you usually.
Actually, I'm gonna say 3, and I'm gonna start with this one because it's personal to me.
Is this number 3?
This would be I'm breaking them into personally, business wise, and storyline.
So there's no 3, 2, 1.
No, personally, for me, the biggest mistake that the WWE ever made, the move they should have went with that they didn't, was when they screwed up Austin Aries. They had Austin Aries. They could have done something amazing with Austin Aries.
They even started doing something that was very entertaining when they brought him up to the commentating booth. It was great, but they didn't go anywhere with it.
Well, they didn't have the same vision for Austin Aries that I had and that Austin Aries had. Austin Aries could have been the biggest thing. I mean, Austin Aries could be a player right now in the main event. You could have feuded Austin Aries and Seth Rollins. You could have feuded Austin Aries and AJ Styles, and you wanted to put him on 205 Live with Neville, who shouldn't have been there either. I think
he's a lot of the reason why we're seeing these Mustafa Ali's and Buddy Lee Murphy's
going to the main roster.
I don't think they want that to happen again.
Right, and they really blew it with Austin Aries, and that's the personal one for me.
That's a good one.
Now, the business wise, they really blew it with Daniel Bryan. They had the opportunity to push Daniel Bryan at a certain time that he would have been astronomical for business, and they didn't. And honestly, you can almost pinpoint the decline of WWE to where it is now from that moment when they decided, hey, we're going to not push this Daniel Bryan guy, even though it's obvious he's the most popular guy in the company. We're not going to push him. We're going to push Roman Reigns instead. People are going to boo Roman Reigns. They're going to crap on Batista's comeback. They're going to even boo Rey Mysterio Jr. because we won't do what they just want us to do. And I think that's part of the reason why we have Kofi Kingston as champion, because they didn't want to do that again. And they really blew it with Daniel Bryan, because now no one cares if Daniel Bryan wins the title or not. Back then, they really wanted to see him win the Royal Rumble. They really wanted to see him hold the title. They really wanted Daniel Bryan, and we didn't get it.
That's the disconnect with WWE. When you're writing a wrestling show, yes, you got to have certain guys pushed and certain guys not pushed, and you have to give your audience what they want somewhat. You don't want to give them everything they want, because then it ruins the whole dynamic. But when it's that apparent, like you said, it was.
And it was absolutely unbelievable during that time too. I actually attended a Raw and a SmackDown during, leading into WrestleMania and the Rumble and everything, and the Yes movement was unreal. Like, you could feel it in the arenas. I mean, there wasn't a single person that was against it. I mean, everybody was on board with it.
It was at least 3 times bigger than the Kofi movement. Movement.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Kofi movement was a generic version of the Yes movement by far, and they just didn't want to lose that again, because they knew people were going to turn the TV off like they did, and they were going to boo people that they necessarily shouldn't boo. Like, Roman Reigns should have never been booed to begin with. No one should have hated Roman Reigns, but they did because of Daniel Bryan. Batista's first comeback may have made him a star again, but they booed him because of Daniel Bryan. That's a big business fail that they made right there. Now, as far as storyline goes, there's a different one, and that all revolves around, for me, the higher power. The higher power when Vince McMahon revealed himself.
This blew my mind. I found out the other day who it was actually supposed to be, but go ahead.
Well, there were two people that actually were in talks, and one actually was really like the guy for it. And then they changed their mind like a week beforehand. But originally, the first person that was put into play was the possibility of Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake the Snake Roberts would have been an incredible person for that role.
Let me rephrase that for you. A sober Jake Roberts would have been incredible for that role.
Well, see, now wait. At that time, Jake Roberts wasn't completely off the tracks. If they would have gave him a job and put him in that position, he may have never went completely south.
So you're saying all he needed was a spot. That's it.
I'm saying he needed that moment to put his career together.
You guys just think, well, let me have it this week.
Now here's the one that you were thinking of though is Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean, I always wondered why he was never there. I heard that he had hepatitis B or C or something, why they never hired him, but I don't guess that's true, huh?
Well, no, I think that is true that he did have hepatitis C. Now I don't think that he has hepatitis C anymore. Hepatitis C is recently a curable disease now. It's not a for life thing anymore. So, but I don't think that he had hepatitis C at the time. That brings me to my question: is if you were dead set on making this guy the higher power, you obviously were over on this guy. You thought this guy was amazing. So you were going to put him there, and then Vince shows up and he's like, "Oh, this guy's way too small to be the higher power. We're not
just
doing
a little guy."
But if he says we're not doing it, okay, well then why didn't you do something with Christopher Daniels? If you've got Christopher Daniels to the point where you're next week going to put him on Raw as the higher power, and you change your mind, you obviously have him into some type of deal. Why didn't you do anything with him, period? He's like one of the most talented people from Impact history. I mean, him and AJ Styles, that's the greatest match in Impact history.
I'll tell you what, back when Impact TNA back then was really in its stride there, really becoming a known commodity, I wasn't a huge fan of AJ Styles. Nothing against what he was doing, but I was drawn to Christopher Daniels. That was my guy.
Christopher Daniels made AJ who he is.
Absolutely.
Without AJ Styles, without Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles would have never been to the level that he is right now. Christopher Daniels taught him everything he knows. And, I mean, Christopher Daniels was AJ Styles before AJ Styles was AJ Styles.
Did you guys see where the Jim Nasty Boys got to wrestle Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels here a couple weeks ago?
Yeah. I did.
I can imagine how that felt. You know what I'm saying?
That's another guy, Frankie Kazarian. He wouldn't be half of what he is right now if it wasn't for Christopher Daniels.
I don't know. I don't know if I think I find Kazarian very entertaining, and I have for a long time. He was another one back then that I was really drawn to.
But who was his teacher?
Yeah.
Christopher Daniels. Christopher Daniels. I mean, so much. Frankie Kazarian was so much of a student to Christopher Daniels that he wrestled exactly like him to play Suicide. When Christopher Daniels was doing the Suicide character, and then Frankie Kazarian would jump in there and do it as well. He basically mimicked himself after even the slightest movement of Christopher Daniels to play that role. If you notice, when they stopped playing Suicide changed completely. T.J. Perkins wasn't able to keep up with Christopher Daniels like that, and T.J. Perkins is extremely talented, and he couldn't keep up. And Caleb Conley. Yeah. Caleb Conley can't. And I like Caleb Conley. Caleb Conley is an extremely good talent. He can't keep up with even T.J. Perkins as Suicide, let alone keep up with Christopher Daniels or Frankie Kazarian as Suicide. Christopher Daniels, WWE not doing something with Christopher Daniels may have been the biggest talent loss as well as storyline loss.
I don't know. What about Austin Aries? I mean, what about Austin Aries? They didn't use him either.
Well, you know what? Austin Aries is good, but you know what? I bet you Austin Aries was sitting around watching Christopher Daniels matches when he decided he wanted to be a top tier guy.
You know, I always liked that. I felt like never got the just push in WWE is the Pope, Elijah Burke. I really liked him.
He's incredible. I mean, he's still out there doing stuff.
He is. A couple other things I have on my list here, guys, then you guys can talk on some. The new ECW in 2006, that could have been so much better.
Could have been so much better. That was a huge misfall there. I mean, I still think about how ECW could have been incredible. And one of the biggest mistakes they made was sending Paul Heyman home. They should have never done that.
I mean, that's his brainchild. They should have just let him have it. I mean, if you want it to be ECW, let him make it ECW.
And at that time,
just make sure he your side of the checks and not him.
To tie it in with what you said as yours, as your pick, at that time you had the opportunity to run WWE, WCW, and ECW all at the same time, have them all compete, and you're the winner every single time. That's like us having a trivia contest and you asking all the questions and everybody getting them all wrong. They're still competing, but you're winning because they're getting the questions wrong. Right, and I mean it's straight up. That's like owning. That's like owning the only 3 restaurants in town. Right, exactly. Everybody's eating from you. Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't understand why they didn't go that route with WCW, ECW, and WWE, and do ECW right, and do WCW right, and do WWE right. Why not? I think a lot of it is it's a power trip, a control thing for Vince McMahon, Brian. I really think it is. You know what a lot of people think about that there's 2 guys responsible for killing ECW? Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon? No, 2 wrestlers. Oh, 2 wrestlers? 2 wrestlers responsible for killing the momentum of ECW. Do you know who they were? ECW wrestlers? New ECW wrestlers. 2006 ECW wrestlers. No, I don't know right off. JBL maybe? Number 1, Kurt Angle. When Kurt Angle went to ECW and he became an ECW star and decided that he was going to quit the WWE and go to Impact because he didn't want to go to ECW and made that clear, hey, I don't want to be an ECW wrestler so bad I'm willing to quit the company. That was a huge blow to ECW. The second person... Roscoe Rooster says Taz. Is that right? Taz what? Is the second wrestler. No, Taz wasn't even a part of the 2006 ECW as a wrestler. Okay. The second person was Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit was supposed to go to ECW and win the ECW World Championship the night that John Morrison won it. But instead he killed his family and then himself. And it really put a stake in the heart of ECW right there because you had an opportunity to have an ECW original who was also a mega WWE superstar and former world champion give legitimacy to the ECW world title to kick this whole thing off. And then he went and did what he did and ruined it all. Yeah. Yeah. Way to kill the mood, Brian. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's something that happened. What about Austin? I think it should have been Austin and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18 instead of Austin and The Rock. Now, or Hogan and The Rock. Don't get me wrong, Hogan and The Rock was great. But if you're going icon versus icon, it should have been Stone Cold versus Hulk Hogan. Am I right? No? You guys don't agree with me?
I don't think the match would have had the same feel to it with Austin and Hogan.
I've always wondered if they knew for a fact that they weren't going to be able to do Austin and Hogan, if they would have done that instead. I think that their thought process was, we'll do Rock and Hogan, then we'll do Austin and Hogan, because obviously Austin and Hogan is going to be the biggest one out of the 2. So you're going to put Austin and Hogan after Rock and Hogan. Rock and Hogan is the build up, and then later on you're going to do Austin and Hogan because it's going to be a bigger match. And even though it might not have been as good of a match, it still would have been a bigger match in build because it's two of the greatest. I mean, now you've got three. You got John Cena, you got Hulk Hogan, you got Steve Austin. Who's the biggest professional wrestler of all time? And you can't really say one or the other. I mean, without Hogan, neither one of them would have had a possibility of doing anything. Without Steve Austin, the WWE might be out of business. Without John Cena, there's like 7,000 Make-A-Wish kids that wouldn't be happy. So, I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of argument there to be had. But Austin Hogan would have definitely been a bigger match. Now, it might not have been a better match, but it would have been a bigger match.
See, I don't know though, because Austin, as far as in the professional wrestling world, yes, bigger than The Rock. But The Rock in the the real world is a bigger name than Steve Austin.
Now, not then.
Even then, he had already been a movie star.
No, not then. He wasn't. Come on now, Derek.
Not. I mean, he might have
He is
done
now. I agree with you now, but not then.
Yeah, Scorpion King was not that big of a movie.
That movie sucked.
Yeah, that movie was terrible. And I mean, when it comes down to it, The Rock wasn't as big as Stone Cold Steve Austin in the world then.
Not just the city, Craig. The world.
I'm saying like now, of course, The Rock's a bigger superstar worldwide than anybody in wrestling history, but not as a wrestler. Steve Austin as a wrestler was the biggest thing in the world.
All right, Derek, go ahead and plead your case. We're awfully hot-winded over here. Go ahead and plead your case.
But see, that's the thing, though. I'm not talking about Steve Austin as a wrestler. I'm talking about Steve Austin as a household name, just like Hulk Hogan as a household name. The Rock was a bigger household name than Steve Austin was
at the time. He wasn't.
Not then.
John Covey Cole, you don't watch wrestling. You don't know.
I agree with John Covey. Not at the time. At the time, Steve Austin was the biggest thing in the world.
No.
The biggest wrestler in the world was Steve Austin.
Wrestler.
Yeah, but at that time, The Rock was a wrestler who did a movie.
That sucked.
Yeah,
good, bad, or indifferent. He was still someone known outside of the wrestling world. For somebody that never watched wrestling before, they may have watched that movie and known who Dwayne The Rock Johnson was.
Well, at that time, Steve Austin had already done Walker, Texas Ranger or whatever.
Don't go there. Don't go there. Austin's acting sucks. We can't put him over on those.
Either way, merits. He was doing something outside in the world. I still think Steve Austin versus Hulk Hogan would have been bigger than The Rock versus Hogan. But I don't think the match would have been as good. And I don't think Hulk Hogan would have jobbed to Steve Austin. He jobbed to The Rock, but I don't think he would have jobbed to Steve Austin.
Well, it's all about how you talk to people. And I can imagine The Rock is very... much more a silk talker than Steve Austin is. Steve Austin be like, well, I'm going to go there and I'm going to kick your ass, and that's how it's going to be, right? And Rock's more, entertaining.
Well, no, I think at the time that Hulk Hogan was like, oh, yeah, The Rock's not bigger than, there's nobody out there saying The Rock's bigger than Hogan. There's plenty of people out there saying Austin's bigger than Hogan.
Hey, Virgil Broyles on Facebook says that Austin was on Celebrity Deathmatch, Derek. So how about them apples?
He was on Celebrity Deathmatch.
No, he wasn't just on Celebrity Deathmatch. He was on many Celebrity Deathmatches. He was like
he was a commentator for a while.
He was a reoccurring character.
Yeah,
he was the champion.
I'll allow it. Old Mills Lane. Do you guys think that we should have had a Goldberg streak in WWE?
No, absolutely not.
No, I don't think there should have been a Goldberg streak in WCW.
I don't think there should have been. I don't even think there should have been Goldberg in WWE. You want to talk about the biggest misfires there? Why even bring him in?
Hey, he's coming back.
I know, and it's terrible. But if you were going to bring him in, why did you not do Stone Cold versus Goldberg? That would have been.
That's probably one of the things like you just mentioned. They probably didn't want to put each other over. I know Goldberg had that kind of problem.
Well, Goldberg should have never been invited to the WWE to begin with.
Well, you just said something about Hogan and Austin being money. Goldberg in the WWE is money. People wanted to see that, even though you didn't.
I didn't.
People
I
want to
didn't
see
want
that.
to. You know where I'd like to have seen Goldberg end his career? On
Where's
the
that?
Atlanta Falcons bench. I wish I'd have never seen Goldberg. I wish Goldberg would have never been on anything ever. I wish he was still a failed football player working as a coach at a high school right now.
Ben Cliff says he still has Celebrity Deathmatch on VHS. That's great.
Yeah, good luck finding a VCR to play that.
Yeah, really. I got a couple more here, gentlemen. What about Undertaker versus Sting? Do you guys feel like they should have done that as soon as Sting got there instead of wasting their time with this other crap?
No, I think
they should have figured out a way to get Sting 10 years ago and done it.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Brian?
Yeah, I never really cared about Sting versus Undertaker. I seen it in 1989 WCW.
You're just hating on Sting again, man.
I mean, I don't understand why that was ever a big deal.
That's
Like,
money.
we got to get Sting and Undertaker. Why?
You got
why
the
is that
dark
money?
character of the WWE versus the dark character in the WCW. It made sense.
My Sting was a bright colored character that surfed.
Your Sting was the guy that dropped Rick Rude on his neck. That's your Sting.
Don't you say that, John Covey Cole. Don't you mention it.
Okay, sorry, Brian. Last but not least, I hate this for this guy because he was very entertaining. It was a great gimmick, but it was just timing is everything. And Muhammad Hussein, that dude was amazing. I really enjoyed his work, but just at the time, right when the London bombings happened and everything with the terrorists, it was just horrible timing. And they just
it was actually beautiful timing. It was the perfect timing. They just got cold feet.
Oh yeah. Bottom line, that's what it was.
Because with everything going on in the world at that time, it couldn't have been a more perfect time to have that character as a heel.
Yeah. After listening to the WrestleMania 8 episode of Something to Wrestle With and listening to how terrible of a situation it was when they did the Sergeant Slaughter, actually WrestleMania 7, I think. 7. When they were doing the Sergeant Slaughter turned against America thing and how the president called Vince McMahon and asked him to cancel WrestleMania. Like, I didn't realize
let me get on top of that.
Deal. I didn't realize it was that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So I guess they had to do what they had to do, but it would have been, I mean, for me, Sergeant Slaughter turning on America was great. It was like the greatest storyline ever for me when I was a kid. I hated him so bad, and it made me want Hogan to stomp his ass even more.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I remember I was such a Hulkamaniac right then, and it was all because of that. You know, that they made me care about the war. As a little kid, I didn't even care that we were at war until Hulk Hogan got involved. And when Hulk Hogan got involved, it was like, support the troops.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And before Hulk Hogan got involved, I was like, what are they doing over there? What is that place called? I don't care.
That's all I have on my docket here, guys. You got a couple honorable mentions you guys would like to talk about before we leave?
I do.
Okay.
So, modern day going on right now, probably the biggest missed opportunity of the WWE is not turning John Cena heel.
Yes and no.
John Cena as not a
great.
cartoon character might have set WWE on fire. Could have been the best thing they've had since Hogan and Andre.
Is he going to be at the Saudi Arabia show? Have you guys heard?
He's not ever going to go to Saudi Arabia again.
No.
Oh, okay.
You'll never see John Cena in Saudi Arabia.
That's fine by me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time we seen him,
I love your response to that.
last time we seen him was at WrestleMania when he come out Doctor of Thugonomics, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. They still have a chance, Derek. Maybe when he does come back, he comes back as the Doctor of Thugonomics.
The only reason John Cena come back as the Doctor of Thugonomics was so he could wear a hat so people wouldn't be ragging on his dumb haircut.
And that gigantic bald spot he has now. He has a huge bald spot.
He has a bald spot on his head like a dog spot, Brian?
You did it. You got it in.
I got it in, baby. I got it in.
It's not a liver spot, John. It's
not a bald spot.
Not a parking spot. It is a bald spot.
It's
not a parking spot. It is a bald spot, yeah.
Derek, good luck next week. Bring everything you got, because I know my man Brian going to be hammering hard with them name that wrestlers.
I got one more missed opportunity,
man. Yeah, man, throw it out.
You can't start selling your title victory.
I'm gonna sell it forever.
All right. What about Goldust? Goldust was a missed opportunity. That thing was rocket strapped.
But that was technically WWF also. I mean, if you want to get technical.
Oh yeah, they could have took that to the moon.
Oh sure.
And they were like,
Razor Ramon ruined that crap. Sorry, go ahead.
Razor Ramon should have just played along. That could have been the biggest thing ever, and they just totally cut the legs right out from under it when it was at its peak.
Speaking of Goldust, did you guys see where Dustin Rhodes squashed the rumor that he broke character and shot on his promo as Seven in WCW? It was alluded to for years that was what happened, but he pretty much said that was the whole idea all along. That was surprising to me.
That was the way it was written, so it made it look like he was taking a cheap shot at WCW, but in reality, he was taking a cheap shot at Vince.
That's
ready to party.
Yeah. He's over there hanging out. Hey, Rowan, come here.
Hey, Derek, take a good old look, old buddy. And then this right here, I can guarantee it's not going to you next week. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Guarantee it.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, John, next week when I'm in studio, had Brian not said it, I was going to go ahead and let you know that I was coming to take my spot.
Oh.
What kind of spot?
Liver spot? No. Guys, we've been here for a while. It's been a lot of fun today. I hated Steve wasn't here, even though he got to object this evening. That was nice to see him. Rich Quick hacking in like old times. Next week on the show, guys, is the Ramble in the Bank. We've already had a couple entrants into the Ramble in the Bank. People like Michael Loving, that's been running his mouth to Derek for years now. Robert Rippeth, the Mighty Hojo, and even Joey Nelson, Chance Prophet, has threw his name in the hat. Of course, Derek Jones, but I ain't worried about him. But we're going to have some more entrants as well. Next week on the show, Brian is going to be throwing out 2 or 3 facts, and these contestants have to name which wrestler those facts are about. What happened to Brian? Would we lose him? I guess.
Rowan dropped an elbow on him.
Rowan done took him out. Well, I thought Rowan done took you out, Brian. Oh, he can't hear me. I thought Rowan done took you out, man.
Yeah, he did. He shut my whole studio down.
What did he do? Come and throw a hurricane right on you and just?
He grabbed the headphone wires and pulled the whole thing off. I went head over tea kettle or whatever the saying is.
We haven't mentioned it today on the show, but rest in peace to Silver King. That was unfortunate over the weekend. I'm sure you guys seen that. That's always sad to see anybody pass away, but especially when they're entertaining, doing what they love. It's very unfortunate to see.
You know, I've got a RIP myself to talk about. Huge wrestling fan. He was actually a part of the Lake show that we did where he helped us put up the ring. Dana Myers from Beckley passed away this week, and I've known him since I was a young child. I used to go to his house to watch pay-per-views when I was like 13 years old, and like I said, he helped us with SCW that night, setting up the ring and stuff. And he passed away, and I hate that for his son. His son is another big wrestling fan, Jackson Myers. He watches the show sometimes, and I just want to send all of our best thoughts to Jackson, and rest in peace, Dana Myers.
Amen, brother. That's always unfortunate. Unfortunately, it's part of life sometimes. That's just, you can't never be ready, even if you are ready. You know what I'm saying? I've known people to go to hospice house, and even though you're ready, you can never get ready. But anyway, like you said, rest in peace. Guys, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here today? Try to leave on a positive note.
Well, I got a question.
17.
That's not the answer.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about the resurgence of LJN figures.
Okay.
If you could have any LJN figure made, who would it be? Who would you buy? Who do you hope LJN makes?
Please make a Marty Scroll.
Yeah, I like Marty. That would be cool.
And I want him in the Plague Doctor mask and the hat and the jacket and just all of it.
Call me crazy, but I'd really like to have a La Parka.
Oh yeah,
a La Parka LJN would be awesome. What about you, John?
That's tough for me, guys. I don't know.
Well, you know who could be an LJN that's in AEW is Chris Jericho.
That would be cool. That's my pick right there, Chris Jericho. Let's use him.
Would you put him in all the black with the hat and the makeup on? Or?
No, because I don't like the makeup. And I don't think that's the Chris Jericho we're going to see at All Elite Wrestling. I think that's the New Japan Chris Jericho. I don't think we're going to see him in AEW.
Kenny Omega would be cool.
Pentagon Jr. would be cool.
Pentagon Jr. would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the coolest one that we named all the entire time we were talking about it. Wow. Pentagon Jr. That'd be a great
Hold on here. Let me find some of these names here. How about a Ishimori? That'd be a cool one, wouldn't it, Derek?
Yeah, and Ishimori with his mask.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, that's about all the time we got for today. We've been here a while. Next week, like I said, it is the Ramble in the Bank. Tune in next week. Tell your friends to tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. The winner will get to name the contest that they want to have against me at a later date for the Royal Ramble Championship. And like Rich Quick said, Mike Loving, it's not a ladder match. Please don't bring no ladders in here trying to raise hell because it's not a ladder match.
I've already sent Mike the list of things he needed to bring. He's going to be. He actually rented a trailer and everything.
Oh Jesus! Oh, we got a call coming in. Let's see who it is before we go. Hey, what's up? You're on the Royal Ramble. Who we got?
Are we live?
We are live. Who we got, man?
I don't know. I haven't been following on the show. I just saw the number and figured I'd call it.
That's awesome. Don't even know what the hell's going on. Just see the phone number. Just dialed it.
Yeah, you gotta live on info.
All right, man. Well, since I got you on the line, I'll go ahead and ask you our weekly topic for the week, which was, what do you think is the biggest missed opportunity of the WWE?
The biggest missed opportunity of the WWE. Biggest missed opportunity of the WWE would be the fact that they bow to the sponsors and not their own common sense.
I can't argue with that.
I mean, that's we complain about it week after week. That's why you didn't watch wrestling this week, right?
I think the worst thing that has happened to WWE is when they went public. When they went public and started putting the faith in like you said, the sponsors' hands, it's why we can't have the Muhammad Hassans. It's why we can't have the help me out here. There's many examples.
Many examples.
I'm surprised that we was able to have the kids on the Firefly Funhouse a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean?
They're not worried about the fans. They're pleasing people that aren't even interested in wrestling to begin with. They're looking at a bottom line. How much money is this property bringing me? They don't care who gets put over, who gets buried, what storyline is stupid. None of that matters.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. Are you excited about All Elite Wrestling? Or are you going to be tuning in?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm excited for a change. I want something different for a change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say, fresh breath of fresh air. Can't hurt, right?
A fresh paint of coat. I mean, a fresh coat of paint. But yeah, man. Tune in next week, dude. We're gonna have a lot of fun here on the Royal Ramble. We're gonna be having a Ramble in the Bank. I'm actually gonna have to hop off here because we was about to close the show, brother. But I appreciate you calling in, man.
All right, man. You have a great night.
Ramble on, buddy.
Take care.
It took all show, guys, but we got us a caller in. Well, actually, I take that back. My son called earlier too. That was pretty cool. But anyway, guys, that's about all the time we got for today. It's been a lot of fun for Brian Resner, Derek Jones, Steve New, Rich Quick. I am Derek. You listening? I am your Royal Ramble champion, John Covey Cole, guys. Until next week at the Ramble in the Bank. Ramble on.
# not my champion.
Ramble on.